Is it possible to define a dividing line between free speech and abusive comments?
What are you alluding to there? Exactly, Mike. But I mean, we've had this week, of course. As we know,
something happened.
Something did happen. It's been on the news, actually, weirdly. So one of our presenters, Laurence Fox, made a comment that many people found offensive, and I suppose you want to know whether that falls into the bracket of free speech. I suppose. What's your view on it?
It's very subjective.
Subjective, yeah. I mean, my view is very much that abuse is part of free speech. I mean, I get it every day online and from family members, actually. But there is a difference, of course, when you're here, because, I'm not saying everything I want to say right now because we are Ofcom regulated and it's before the watershed. It's not a threat to my free speech because I signed a contract saying I would do that. And I think that's sort of different. I mean, that's my sort of...
Yeah, exactly. When you take a job, you've got to abide by the restrictions of that workplace. And Laurence is a really smart, kind, sensitive guy. He hid it well on this occasion. And what infuriates me about it... So this woman, this commentator he was talking about, Ava Evans, she'd said some absolutely vile things about male suicide. She'd absolutely minimised
the impact,
deflected and obfuscated the issue of male suicide, which is a serious issue. It's the biggest killer of men under 50. What she said was horrible. So he should have taken her to task over what she said, and instead he went on this ad hominem attack that then everybody was just talking about that instead of what she said. So I mean, he was his own worst enemy there. But yeah, when you sign up to work at a place, you've got to abide by those regulations. I mean, I believe that people should be able to go to the toilet whenever they want. It doesn't mean that if you're working in a pizza restaurant, you can do a poo in your hands and clap while you're making a pizza. You know what I mean? There's basic health and safety, food hygiene regulations.
I think of some pizza restaurants where that would probably be acceptable.
When you're outside of the east of London, you can't poo in your hands and clap.
Have you had a Deliveroo recently?
But the thing is, so do you think, Jojo, I mean, particularly online, so a lot, I mean, this question about whether abuse encroaches in free speech, and you must have seen a lot of abuse online, but do you think that's your free speech to behave in that way? Or do you think that there should be restrictions in that?
No, I don't think there should be restrictions. I think that, I think we're getting kind of quite sort of overwhelmed by online and that everybody's horrible and everybody's vile. But I don't think that's actually the real world that we live in. I think we're all pretty decent. I think if somebody dropped their wallet now, you go, oh, is that your wallet? I think we are generally still quite kind and good to each other.
Yes.
I still think on occasions we want to tell someone to go somewhere, in a
colourful way.
In a colourful way.
Yes.
And particularly the job I do, because I'm a stand-up comedian, I know that my language and the things I say backstage at a gig are very different to if I'm communicating with somebody when I'm doing my shopping at Tesco or, dropping off the kids at school.
Yes.
So there is a different place for different language that we know. Do you know what I mean? We behave differently. It's called reading the room. And I think, and I would be appalled if I am incredibly rude to people backstage because that's, I'm not...
That's years earlier.
Yeah.
But that's part, you know them, they're friends.
I know them, but also my job as a stand-up comedian, my job is not to deliver end-of-year data reports. I am going out and dealing with uncomfortable, sometimes, topics that are really kind of triggering, but the point of comedy is that you're using humour to puncture that tension, make a joke about it. You have to make people feel uncomfortable. You also have to be rude to people. The things I say to people in a comedy club,
you wouldn't say them here.
I wouldn't say them here because, well, I might, and then really we will shut down. Come on, let's get out of here. Give me the keys.
We've had enough of it, Jojo. I think on this show, let's...
No, but I know not to swear.
Yeah, of course.
But, if I was at stand-up, you can't believe what I saw somebody call somebody last night.
Some of the stuff you say, Jojo.
Yeah.
Outrageous.